Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a businessman who is worried, because his company's tax evasion has been exposed. He intends to depart Korea, before the authorities can apprehend him. 3 masked men appear out of nowhere, and casually inject him with medication. They turn out to be prison convicts and members of a major crime gang, that kills for money. The next morning, the businessman is discovered dead from an overdose, and the investigation is closed with no evidence of murder. Meanwhile, Song is a convicted ex-cop, who is being held in the same facility. He was found guilty of tampering with evidence, and even bribery. He was dubbed the Grim Reaper, because he always succeeded in killing his prey. He gets into a fight as soon as he gets off the bus, due to his antagonistic disposition. Unbeknownst to him, he has just entered a jail, teeming with gangs ruled by a strong crime syndicate. At night, he is promptly tormented and abused by his housemates. His roommates, it turns out, are led by Chang-gil, a gang leader Song threw in while being a cop. Chang-gil pees on Song, yet he laughs all the while. He bites Chang-gil's neck till bleeding profusely, and Chang-gil opens his gag. He kidnaps Chang-gil and demands an audience with the warden. Then he meets with the warden, and requests preferential treatment, which the warden refuses. The warden is escorted out by the security, but the crime syndicate arrives to support him. He gets battered and dragged into a factory for the second time that night. Then Ik-ho, the prison crime syndicate's boss, appears and orders his men to hack Song's arm off. After some time, Song ultimately cracks, and swears to follow the laws of the syndicate. As a punishment, they let him go and send him to a solitary cell. Meanwhile, Ik-ho, the prison monarch, is getting preferential treatment. He is notorious for eating his adversaries' eyeballs with cruelty. His violent actions propelled him to the top of the prison's dread list, surpassing all other gangs. Aside from these ways, he bribes the authorities and the detainees, with a piece of his dirty money. The next day, Chang-gil's troops attack Song. When Ik-ho notices this, he summons them to a duel, and it begins. Song manages to score strong blows on Chang-gil at first. Then Chang-gil manages to score a strike on Song, and they both overwhelm each other. Song takes Chang-gil by surprise, and throws him to the ground, kicking him in the chest, and delivering the knockout blow with victory. Song requests to join Ik-ho's gang as a reward, which Ik-ho accepts. He eventually joins the gang and lives the high life in prison. The warden meets with Ik-ho's client the next day, to deliver the prize for killing the businessmen earlier. He also leaves Ik-ho's next task with warden, who takes it grudgingly. Meanwhile, Song is getting to know his new housemates, who are Ik-ho's direct henchmen who do the murders for the client. He is startled to learn that they are all professionals in their fields, ranging from safecracker to surgeon to army head to butcher. Warden then meets with Ik-ho, to deliver the reward and details about the upcoming task. They plan the next mission using the details, and even bring in an explosives expert from another prison. They break into the target's location, unlock the safe, and steal certain stuff within minutes. During the task, however, one of the henchmen escapes. The warden receives word, and tells his troops to apprehend him right away. To add to his workload, the chief pays a surprise visit to the prison. He quickly notices something strange about Ik-ho, who has been designated as a model prisoner. Ik-ho, on the other hand, is adamant and intends to assassinate the chief. Fortunately, Song supports Ik-ho and releases the tension, and he is instead beaten by the guards. The chief instructs warden to clean up the mess, before departing. Ik-ho feels indebted to Song as a result of the incident, so they go out to eat Song's favorite dish. Over dinner, Ik-ho becomes more convinced of Song's commitment, and assigns him a mission to capture his henchman, who escaped in the last assignment, in exchange for $100,000. Song begins his mission the next day. He swiftly locates the inmate using his prior police expertise, and exits the car to join the fight. He catches up to the jailbreaker after some running, and instantly knocks him down. Ik-ho returns the jailbreaker to the prison, and instructs him to kill himself. Song accepts the money, but feels horrible for assisting in the death of the inmate, and is appointed as Ik-ho's right-hand guy the next day. Ik-ho teaches him how to survive in prison, and persuades him to join the syndicate wholeheartedly. While cleaning, he notices the warden holding a secret in his office, and resolves to investigate later. Then Song and the gang share some barbecue. Unfortunately, he gets into a confrontation with Lee, Ik-ho's former right-hand man, who enviously looks up to him. Ik-ho wins in front of everyone by defeating Lee instead of Song. Chang-gil notices Lee's change of heart, and offers him to join in plotting against Ik-ho, to which he grudgingly agrees. Meanwhile, Song has infiltrated the warden's office, and discovers his dark secret. Warden has been keeping evidence of Ik-ho taking missions from the client. Song learns from one of the tapes that Ik-ho is the one who murdered his brother, because he was too close to the prison syndicate as a reporter. The client arrives at the prison the next day, to negotiate the next job with Ik-ho in person. Song observes them, and notices something strange about Lee. Chang-gil and his crew are also seen entering the room. Chang-gil, it turns out, is planning to gang up on Ik-ho today, in order to usurp his status as prison king. Ik-ho begins the fight, throwing a pot of hot oil at one of Chang-gil's men, and savagely gouging his eyeball with a spoon. While doing so, he threatens everyone who comes after him. Chang-gil's men are demoralized. When Chang-gil notices this, he apologizes, followed by tears and confession. Chang-gil creeps up on him and backstabs him. Song enters the room unexpectedly, and saves Ik-ho once more. Chang-gil's troops are defeated one by one. Song suffers several hits as well, yet he continues to rise up. He effectively eliminates the majority of the troops, but he remains outnumbered. Ik-ho saves him just before he is going to be stabbed, and the battle ends when the guards arrive. Song awakens in the hospital, and recalls events from his past. He recalls witnessing his brother's dead body after Ik-ho killed him. The authorities, however, lack the evidence to prosecute the case. Song attempted to locate prior cold cases with comparable alibis, but his superior thought the scenario was too large and rejected his suggestion. So he went into the prison himself, to collect evidence and expose Ik-ho's syndicate, which he is still doing. Meanwhile, Chang-gil has been transferred to another facility. The guards dump him off somewhere on his way there. Suddenly, one of Ik-ho's men rams a car into him, and drives him away to be executed elsewhere. Ik-ho is searching for the traitor in the prison. At first, he suspects Song, but Lee breaks down and begs for his life. Ik-ho instructs Song to use a chainsaw to sever Lee's arm. As a result, the henchmen begin to fear and respect Song more and more, while Song is terrified that his actions while entering the syndicate will change who he is. Ik-ho notices Song's hesitation, and shares his desire with him. He intends to take over all of Korea's jails and requests Song's assistance. Song plans to meet his superior outside the prison the next day. He delivers him one of Warden's recordings, and discusses the conditions in the prison, and is eager to complete the job in order to exact his retribution. In the meantime, Warden is meeting with the chief. The chief is aware that Warden has been receiving money from Ik-ho, and intends to investigate. The Warden then meets with Ik-ho in order to free him from prison. He does this to clear up the filth that has accumulated under his domain. Ik-ho is not pleased with the solution. He rejects the proposition and intends to assassinate the chief himself. The syndicate embarks on another large-scale mission. They're planning to kill the chief in a foundry this time. Song slips out and calls his superior, who relays the mission's strategy and arranges an ambush. As a result, the cops proceed to the foundry to set up the ambush. They get entry but discover nothing odd inside. Ik-ho has changed the meeting location as a precaution. His henchmen arrive with the chief in a sack, and place him in front of a scrap metal grinder. As he nears the end of his life, Chief begs for his life. Ik-ho has murdered the chief with no proof, leading to the syndicate. Meanwhile, Song's boss gives him the order to cancel the expedition. He does not want to quit Song, so he conducts his own inquiry. On their way back, Ik-ho learns of the ambush, and sends a man to track down Song Sr. They apprehend him, and threaten to kill him if he does not confess. They put his senior on the same metal grinder while he is on the phone. Song eventually snaps, and spills his cover. He intends to kidnap Ik-ho, but his men storm the scene and swiftly beat him up. Meanwhile, Warden is aware of the police inquiry, and becomes aware of his missing recording. He confronts Ik-ho, and the two fight. However, he is unable to shoot him, and Ik-ho manages to obtain the gun. He appoints a new warden, and immediately executes the previous one. He then instructs his troops to make Song the scapegoat for Warden's murder. They intend to make it appear he killed himself. They help Song up, but his will to live is great. One of the henchmen admires him and assists him in fleeing. In the midst of the chaos, Song beats the henchmen one by one. Then he exits the room to conceal himself. The prison is on high alert, in search of Song. One by one, the guards search the room. Fortunately, one of his old acquaintances takes him in, and cures his wound. He then goes to Ik-ho's private facility, and sets fire to it. The fire quickly spreads, alerting Ik-ho and the guards. Song also brings a petrol tank and abandons it in Ik-ho's base camp. The officers and inmates then work together to extinguish the fire. However, it is too large, and their efforts appear futile. Song suddenly appears and challenges Ik-ho to a duel, who accepts and takes out a metal bar. As they overcome one another, the struggle is heated and tense. Song eventually manages to overcome and humiliate Ik-ho in front of his troops. Meanwhile, the fire has alerted the police, who break inside the prison and overrun the premises. Ik-ho exploits Song's wound on top of the tower, and the tide turns once more. Fortunately, the cops warn Ik-ho to surrender. However, he is captivated by his goal and has no intention of giving up. Song surprises him and beats as he laughs. Song intends to kill him, but his superior arrives and reminds him of who he truly is. Song saves his life, but he takes advantage to thrash Song. In the end, the cops shoot and kill Ik-ho. Song is relieved to see his brother's assassin killed by his own hands. Following that, the syndicate is dismantled and probed. The client has also been apprehended, and all of Ik-ho's cold cases are reopened. Song will spend some time in prison for his conduct while joining the syndicate, which he welcomes wholeheartedly. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.